They thought it would all quietly disappear, just another controversy swept under the rug, another lawsuit left to rot in the legal maze. But this time, they were wrong. This time, someone fought back. And not just with words, with evidence, strategy, and unshakable resolve. Her name, Caroline Leavitt. The verdict, $800 million, not a fine, not a slap on the wrist, a full-scale financial detonation that left ABC, The View, and every smug-talking head on daytime TV scrambling for cover. What began as a smug segment meant to humiliate her became the very noose that unraveled an entire media empire. And Caroline, she didn't scream. She didn't tweet. She filed. She waited. She struck. Now, the most expensive judgment in daytime. Television history is more than a number. It's a warning shot to every network that ever thought it was untouchable. The impact was immediate. Within seconds of the gavel dropping, Wall Street convulsed. ABC's parent company lost millions in market value before the closing bell. Analysts fumbled through their scripts as breaking news hijacked the airwaves. CNBC anchors went wide-eyed. Sponsors panicked. 4 major advertisers pulled their contracts instantly, not out of ethics, out of self-preservation. One insider said it felt like a dam broke. Calls were made, emails sent in all caps, damage control teams mobilized. But the bleeding didn't stop. Why? Because this wasn't just a courtroom loss. This was a public unmasking of institutional cruelty, recorded, time-stamped, and verified. Insurance policies didn't cover intentional defamation. ABC didn't just trip over a bad segment. They orchestrated a hit job, and Caroline had the receipts. Inside ABC's Manhattan headquarters, panic spread faster than gossip. Boardroom. Meetings morphed into full-blown war rooms. Legal departments buzzed like emergency rooms. Budget sheets were torn apart as executives begged the numbers to make sense. But they didn't. Catering budgets were cut. Travel plans axed, salaries frozen, staff whispering about Chapter 11 in the hallways. One HR associate texted a friend, "They're talking bankruptcy, like actual bankruptcy." Morale collapsed as fast as the viewership. Studio lights dimmed, makeup chairs sat empty. But the quietest voice in the building was the loudest of all. Caroline. She didn't post. She didn't gloat. She watched. And as the silence grew louder, the spotlight shifted from the network to the individuals. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, names once synonymous with morning entertainment, now trailed by scandal. Each co-host, once insulated by applause and ratings, was summoned into cold, clinical legal briefings. There were no teleprompters, no applause breaks, just hard questions. Were they personally liable? Could they be sued directly? The answer wasn't no. It was maybe. And that maybe was terrifying. Suddenly, these women, so confident behind the desk, looked like deer in headlights. Whoopi hired a crisis PR team. Joy disappeared altogether. Sunny cried in a meeting, sources say. Not performative tears, real ones. Because she knew this wasn't just a headline, it was an ending. Behind the scenes, Caroline's legal team didn't just win. They unleashed a flood. Leaked Slack messages showed calculated cruelty. Backstage footage revealed mocking rehearsals. Producer notes outlined planned attacks. And then came the smoking gun. A video of Joy Behar laughing with a producer, sipping wine, smirking. Let's see her sue us for that. She did. And she won. When that clip played in court, the silence was deafening. One juror muttered, "That's cold." The arrogance of that moment, the sheer dismissal, it became the centerpiece of the entire case. Not just defamation, but targeted humiliation. And the fallout? Massive. ABC's lawyers scrambled to settle other pending claims before more clips emerged. Executives started blaming each other. One was heard shouting, "You said it would never see the light of day." And amid the chaos, another letter arrived from Caroline's legal team. One sentence, bold and cold. "We suggest you begin calculating liquidation options." This wasn't a PR crisis, it was nuclear, and ABC was at ground zero. Syndication deals froze. Licensing talks collapsed. Streaming contracts were renegotiated in panic. Disney executives, yes, Disney, called emergency meetings. They didn't want to touch the fallout. Not with gloves. With tongs, they considered cutting the entire daytime division to cauterize the wound. Advertisers like major automakers and tech brands paused all daytime ad spend, fearing public backlash. And while the media scrambled to rewrite scripts and dodge accountability, Caroline stood still, calm, collected, watching as the empire that mocked her crumbled, not in secret, but in full, humiliating public view. Other networks took notice. CBS held emergency legal briefings. NBC combed through months of unscripted footage. Even Netflix reached out to legal experts to preemptively shield themselves. One CNN anchor was reportedly told to attend a new training course called Defamation Liability in Live Broadcast. New host contracts now include personal accountability clauses. One mistake, and you're on your own. No more safety nets. And here's the thing. This wasn't just about one segment. It wasn't even just about one network. This was about a cultural shift. For decades, media elites scoffed at challengers, ridiculed dissenters, painted opposing views as jokes. Caroline flipped the script. With calm, not chaos. With facts, not fury. She didn't burn down the media house. She simply opened the windows and let the truth do its job. And the ripple effects? They're only just beginning. Legal pundits are calling this the talk show reckoning. TikTok influencers are dissecting court transcripts like it's true crime. YouTube channels are uploading hour-long breakdowns of each clip. Reddit forums are exploding with conspiracies. Not about Caroline, but about how deep the media rot goes. Conservative pundits are calling her the anti-AOC, but smarter, sharper, and silent when it matters. Political strategists are whispering, 2028, Senate, maybe more. One campaign insider said, she's got the platform, the poise, the base. All she needs is the moment. And she might have just created it. Not with a rally, not with a scandal, with justice. Clean, irrefutable surgical justice. The kind that doesn't just punish, it sets precedent. So here we are. Not just at the end of a headline, but the end of an era. Daytime television, once a sacred space for middle America chatter, now lies in financial ruins. The View, that once towering icon, now reduced to a case study in arrogance, accountability, and the cost of underestimating the quiet ones. Their jokes have faded, their smirks erased. And Caroline? She's not just the woman who sued The View, she's the woman who ended it. Not with vengeance, but with proof. And if you're watching this thinking, well, it could never happen, think again. Because now, every host knows the playbook has changed. Every producer has a new checklist. Every executive has a new fear. And every viewer, they finally got to see what happens when one of their own doesn't back down. They got to see justice. Raw, unfiltered, televised justice. Now here's what I want from you. Smash that like button if you're done with media hypocrisy. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should The View be gone for good? Share this with someone who still believes. The media is always right. Subscribe now, because Caroline's not done, and neither are we.